Hello, everyone, and welcome to the All Effin' Wrestling Show. The Effin' Expert is here. What do we got on the show today?
Today, my friends, we are going to go through the news in professional wrestling. We're going to have some jokes. And we are going to dissect participants in AEW's Continental Classic.
I think that music was really loud.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, let's get going on the show today. What the hell is it?
Coming to you live from the Effin' Worldwide Media Studios, located in parts unknown.
It's the All Effin' Wrestling Show.
With your hosts, Canada Dry, and the JFB. Tell me how it's priced. Tell me if the item is for sale. And tell me.
Welcome, everyone, to the All Effin' Wrestling Show. I am the patron saint of professional wrestling. I am that ginger the bubbly son of a bitch. I'm Canada Effin' Dry. You know, I don't work on being perfect anymore on this thing. Like, I'm just going to be me. That's a perfectly messed up person when it's trying to do all this stuff.
Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good. And you guys know who I am. I'm the pinch hitter around here. I am not JFB. I am the Effin' Expert. You can find me about 1 million times every weekend on this channel. I'm Mr. Isaacs.
Yes, and you do such a great job. Like when JFB isn't here, we don't miss a beat because I feel like you and I also have this awesome chemistry.
Absolutely, man. Like we have developed some pretty damn good chemistry here. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, and like we're like just like whenever we throw each other on a show, we can just like bam, because we got that simpatico.
Absolutely. Like we don't even have to like make notes or anything. Like we could just bounce off each other and talk shit for an hour and a half, and it works.
Like we get like last night we talked about a four-way battle for the dads.
Yeah, if there was like a fatal four-way death match between Dr. Huxtable, Carl Winslow, Danny Tanner, and Uncle Phil, like who would win?
I feel like everyone just beats the shit out of Dr. Huxtable to start the match.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, he's the one that's got the sketchy history. So he's the one that everybody's going to gang up on. They're going to get rid of him right away. He's done.
Like they throw him through a table at the beginning of the match.
He's getting the light tube across the eyes.
Yes, and then they throw like tables on tables on tables on top of him.
And then set it on fire, probably. Yeah.
Oh! that went dark quick.
Hey, it's a death match, pal.
Yeah.
They do this stuff all the time.
It's a mud show death match.
It's an outlaw mud show bullshit match.
Yeah. Of course, we are just gonna ramble like this all show long. It's just a fun thing. Thank you for watching today. I guess we will start off. We're gonna talk some news.
Yeah.
Later on, we're gonna have a joke of the day. But I guess we'll just we'll hit that news intro.
Let's do it.
From the four corners of the globe, from our studios to your home,
This is FNN, the FN News Network, starring Canada Dry and the JFB.
Like all these intros, they're like so professional, and then I'm like, I'm coughing. How am I supposed to live up to this professionalism?
Well, JFB is like, I mean, this is what he does for a living, guys.
Mhm.
Like he is in like film production, and you know, we're just a couple of dudes here that like wrestling. Like he actually does professional production work.
Yeah, so like, it's like I let him lead, and I'll just like, can I say something, JFB?
uh, well, when you think about podcasting duos, you usually have that dynamic of the straight guy who's kind of like the nuts and bolts broadcaster. And then you
Yeah.
got the guy that's kind of the witty banter guy. Like you're the witty banter guy.
Yeah.
JFB's the nuts and bolts guy,
Yeah, and the sleepy JFB.
the sleepy man.
Like him falling asleep. That like as much as we say he's professional, that was funny.
Hey, man, JFB's a hardworking man. What
Were
can
you
you
on that
say?
show?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
on that
yeah,
show.
you
That was
were.
on one of the Dynamite After Darks
Yeah.
about a month ago. Yeah, I was on that.
Yeah, he was a good sport. We played the bell, like the sleepy music Liam made for him. So
Like we were in the middle of reviewing a match or something, and like it was supposed to get back to him to, you know, because he was the host, so he's like pitching the segments to us, and we kind of like were just like waiting for him, and like all of a sudden his head just nodded down on the screen.
well, he
And we
got
were like,
sleepier and sleepier, and I was kind of like taking the wheel from him. I was like,
So-
okay. So he's like, what? He seemed confused when I was like taking over. And then
Yeah.
it's like, there's a reason. This car is going to crash if we do not like have someone else driving.
well, that was just one of those classic moments that like we're going to be able to put that on clip shows for like years to come.
Oh, absolutely. So we're just gonna ramble about some stuff that's going on in wrestling.
Yeah.
Get your thoughts on this, Jeremy. The Ric Flair thing. So he says on Rampage, he says, I don't have the exact quote, but any women 18 to 20, come meet me in my hotel room. No boyfriends, no husbands. Woo!
He said 18 to 28, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
He made the scale went a little higher than that.
Okay.
Yeah, this was just you know, these old timers, they just are who they are. And Ric Flair is one of those guys. He is who he is. Like if you bring in Ric Flair and you give him a live microphone, this is the kind of stuff he says. Like this is the kind of stuff that he's always said and the kind of stuff he's always going to say. And I think in 2023, I think that 2023, Ric Flair's style of promo is very outdated, and it's something that's just not gonna fly with a lot of younger fans in the audience. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of is what it is.
Well,
What
it's
do
also
you
about the
think?
fact that he's now, how old is he?
I believe he's 70, isn't he?
Yeah, so you're talking about a senior citizen telling 18 to 20, 28 to meet you. And yeah, like, okay, like put the whole plane ride from hell out of the picture. It's still cringe.
Oh, it's very creepy. It's creepy AF. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I would like to think that when I'm a 70-year-old man, if I'm blessed to live that long, that I'm not going to be trying to mac on 18-year-old girls, because that's not a good look. Not a good look. It's
Yeah, but like,
creepy.
it is part of his gimmick for like how long?
I mean, since the
there is-
80s. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is that grace for that. So, but I feel like, you know, he gets grace for that if there's no plane ride from hell, and he doesn't, you know.
Yeah. If the plane ride from hell hadn't happened, I think people would be a little more forgiving of him making comments like that. But
we have to say, what's the plane ride about? Do you want to quickly explain this?
yeah, so the plane ride from hell, they did an entire episode about this on Dark Side of the Ring, but this is a very famous plane ride where the WWE was coming back from overseas on a private jet, and basically shenanigans went on. The guys got bored. They started getting into fights with each other. I think Kurt Hennig and Brock Lesnar got into a shoot wrestling match and almost like busted open the door and flew out of the damn plane. And there was just all kinds of craziness going on, people drawing on each other. And one of the things that went down, allegedly, was Ric Flair allegedly sexually harassing a flight attendant and exposing himself to her.
Which was the helicopter on the plane ride.
Yeah, so apparently he had his robe, and this is all allegedly.
Yes.
I'm going to make that clear. He allegedly had his ring robe on that he wore out to the ring with nothing on under it, exposed himself by opening the robe, and would spin around his male anatomy like a helicopter. Yes, and shouted woo. That's what the story of the plane ride from hell is.
Allegedly the stewardess was not able to, like, she was kind of cornered in there.
Yeah. She said that Flair had her cornered where she couldn't move and was like trying to force her to like touch him. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a pretty serious charge. Absolutely.
So, like, he later made a whole big post on this right after it was released. I guess they edited this out of Rampage, but he made a bit of apology. But he was also like saying fans should stop being so negative.
But yeah, I follow him on Facebook and on Twitter, and it's funny because I guess Flair, I guess he's like Trump. He writes his own social media because like he capitalizes every
what's with the capitalization of
and he does this in every post. This isn't just this one. He capitalizes every single word in every post.
That must take like 10 minutes to write a paragraph.
So he would have failed like middle school English class. But he wrote in all caps basically, and look, Flair can be kind of a crybaby these days. Let's just be honest. Like, he's very sensitive. If anybody says anything at all about him, he kind of like breaks down about it. And we've seen this in the past with him. And,
why are you guys being so mean to me?
Like, I don't know if you guys remember his recent feud with Dutch Mantel. You know, like he gets very sensitive about criticism. But he had this long post about, guys, I am what I am, and I'm just not going to change, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody. And if I embarrass Tony Khan in AEW, I'll walk away, but I'm just going to keep being me and living my best life.
Yeah, that's a Mr. Isaac's interpretation of what he said.
Yeah. Well, what is your interpretation of what he said?
Basically that. Like, but I think he's like, he wants to say F you to the fans first. And then, but I love you, Tony Khan. Thank you so much. You know, kind of like he wants to say F you while saying sorry at the same time, which is weird.
Did you see the, speaking about his sensitivity, did you see, this is something that came out probably about a year or so ago. There was a viral TikTok video of like a chick going up to him. And did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so this was in a bar, right? Because Flair always goes out to public bars. So he's at a bar drinking by himself. And this chick has a TikTok video where her boyfriend's like, that's a legendary pro wrestler. His name is Ric Flair. Like, why don't you go see if you can get a picture with him? And this is like a very attractive young woman. She goes up to him and she's like, hey, I don't know who you are, but my boyfriend says that you're famous. Can I get a picture with you? And he goes, no, get out of here. Like, he was like super offended that she came up to him like that.
Well, I guess if she would have said you're Ric Flair, she probably would have, but I don't know who you are. Let me just give you a tip out there if you're watching. If you're about to approach someone who you think is a celebrity, do not insult them first.
Yeah.
By saying, I don't know who you are.
In fairness, that was kind of shitty of her to approach him like that.
Well, I don't think she did it on purpose. I just think she's just like,
Yeah, I think she thought it
Just
wouldn't be
being
that big of a
honest.
deal. Yeah. And he went on his podcast later with his son-in-law Conrad and said, and I thought this was kind of a controversial statement. He said, yeah, these women aren't used to being told no. They get told no by somebody, and all of a sudden that's a big deal. And it's like, whoa, you gotta let's stay off the cringy sexism here, pal.
yeah. Well, yeah, you're blanketing also all women together.
Yeah.
Some
That's
random
Ric Flair.
girl. It's not all women.
That is Ric Flair. If we don't have any more comments about Flair, we'll go ahead and go to the next news item here. And that is going to be my first news item is apparently Ring of Honor Final Battle is not selling very well. For one thing, they're doing it in Garland, Texas, which is a very strange place to do Final Battle. Final Battle historically was usually done in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, and always drew a really big crowd there because independent wrestling, I mean, New York City's a wrestling city, period. So if you put a big name indie there, they're probably going to sell out and do really well. But this report that I found says that Ring of Honor only has distributed, not even sold, but distributed 900 tickets. And they have 3,000 seats. It's an 8,000 seat arena that they've sectioned off 3,000 seats, and they've only distributed 900 tickets. It's not a good look. Not a good look at all.
This is factual, though.
I mean, that's what the report says here. The Curtis Colwell Center has a capacity of 8,500, but the current setup is for 3,722 fans. So far, 996 tickets have been distributed, equivalent to 26.76% of the available tickets for the show. And this was on WrestleTix on Twitter.
Okay.
This is what Joey Janela responded to in his tweet.
Yeah,
And,
I wonder, do they have to change how they're doing Ring of Honor?
Yes. And that was kind of like the broader point of why I wanted to bring this up. I think they've got to change what they're doing with Ring of Honor because this is not working. This is not working. I think that when Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, he thought that he was going to get it on television and it was going to be AEW's version of NXT. But then when the television deal didn't come to fruition, it's kind of just left out in the cold. It's behind this Honor Club paywall that nobody subscribes to. And they just put them in these small, dinky arenas. And it's just, I guess, I don't know if Tony Khan books Ring of Honor or what. I don't think it's ever publicly come out, but I think he needs to put somebody else in charge of Ring of Honor. He needs to step away from it. Kind of like how Shawn Michaels runs NXT. Maybe bring in someone like Gabe Sapolsky or someone like that. Let him run Ring of Honor independent completely of AEW and start booking smaller venues in bigger, more established wrestling markets like New York.
You know what has also kind of died off is this discussion of a streaming service.
Yeah.
It's really, really died off. Almost like people's hopes are just dashed. It's not going to happen.
It's it's something that if it was going to happen, I think it would have happened by now.
Yeah.
I honestly expected this to happen a year or two ago.
I think you had a AEW streaming service with Ring of Honor a part of that. That changes the game completely.
Yeah. I always had this idea, and I don't think it would happen, but Tony Khan likes to work with other people. I would have liked to have seen a combined New Japan World Honor Club AEW English streaming service. And I think that, and if you could even get Impact on board, because Khan's worked with them before, you could take the TNA library, the New Japan library, the Ring of Honor and AEW library, and you could make a viable alternative product to what the WWE network was.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see as a fan. What do you think about that?
Or what about this? Like, if you really want to go all in with that, you could get TNA, you could get NWA, you could get like everyone, just a wrestling network.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it would be
it
like
benefits everyone.
It would be a better version of like Fight TV, like an actual monthly subscription service.
Like imagine you pay $20 a month for this, for everything. You get TNA, you get NWA, that would be cool.
It would be killer, and I think it would be worth that price point too. Yeah, absolutely.
Like even 25.
And I've always said that this is the only way that non-WWE wrestling is going to be able to compete with WWE is they're going to have to band together and pull their resources together. That's really the only way I could see this happening.
Do you think Billy Corgan has a beef with Tony Khan?
I think so. Yeah.
What's something because they were working together.
They were working together, and then I don't know if you remember, but when they did that women's pay-per-view, I guess Tony Khan had some negative things to say about how he had helped fund that pay-per-view, and Billy Corgan, he didn't feel like was giving him enough in return, and they just never really worked together after that. Because if you remember, the NWA Women's Championship was being defended on Dynamite every week when Serena Deeb had it.
Yeah.
So I think they had a working relationship, and I think Tony Khan felt like the reciprocity wasn't there with NWA.
I think that Billy Corgan just needed to eat it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, Tony Khan is the one who has the stroke here whenever you're working with him. So I think you should have given Tony Khan whatever he wanted.
But like imagine like Billy Corgan playing Smashing Pumpkins at an AEW pay-per-view.
That would have been cool.
Right? So like work together, people.
They're going to have to. If anybody wants any chance of competing with WWE, these guys are going to have to work together. Like there's no alternative.
Yeah, I would love that. Should we move on to the next news bit?
Yeah, what do you got next for us?
Okay, so Kevin Sullivan was a name from the past, right?
Yeah.
Dungeons of Doom.
Yep.
He says that pro wrestling has way too many championships. What do you think of this?
I 100% agree.
Alex Haney says, or maybe Tony's just a man baby.
That's a possibility too.
It's a possibility, but the one with the most stroke kind of.
Tony Khan's got leverage here with anybody who works with him.
Leverage.
He's a billionaire, and Billy Corgan's not. So
Billy Corgan's doing well financially, but he's not going to waste all his money in the NWA. He's going to.
Oh yeah, Billy Corgan's a smart businessman. He's been in the music business for many decades, very successful. But he's not going to blow all his money. Like if he's running in the deficit, he's going to shut it down. Absolutely, and he should. Anyways, what was I getting at here? I kind of threw me off track. We were getting ready to transition.
Sullivan.
Kevin Sullivan.
Are there too many championships in wrestling?
I think so. And for those of you who don't know, Kevin Sullivan was like the main booker of WCW for years. So like he's done this before.
But didn't they have a lot of championships in WCW?
They had the World Championship, Tag, US, and TV.
And Cruiserweight.
And eventually the Cruiserweight. Yeah. Which that's fine because like it was only specific wrestlers that could even wrestle for that one. So I think
but you go and you look at NXT, you look at Ring of Honor, and you kind of have to take those out of the picture when you talk about WWE and AEW.
WWE, yes. AEW, no. Because Ring of Honor titles are defended on AEW TV almost every week.
But NXT champions are on the main shows now sometimes.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally. And I think they do that sporadically just to spike a rating for NXT.
And if they have a big show coming up and they're like, they want to promote it.
You know, when Ring of Honor has a 6-man title and then AEW has a trios title, and then both are defended in the same week at AEW television, that gets a little confusing. Kind of muddies the waters a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. The 6-man title. Well, this is the thing. It's like because AEW really wants to get people interested in the ROH, so that's why they're putting these people on
Oh, I know.
shows.
But at the same time, when they put the Ring of Honor 6-man tag belts on the Elite, and then the Elite don't work a single Ring of Honor show, like what did that really help?
Well, yeah, because then the Gates of Agony got the belts back.
Yeah.
So it's like, why?
So I mean, I guess this is an effort to try to put over the Ring of Honor product. I think they're going to have to do it a different way. I really do, because it's just not working. And throwing all the title belts on Dynamite, it just makes it so convoluted. And we've got I guess this Continental Classic's going to be a new belt, and then the New Japan Strong title is going to be floating around, and Vikingo's bringing out the AAA title.
Like one belt to rule them all, sort of thing.
I think that's what they're designing it to be, but I mean, New Japan's not going to allow the Strong title to stay with whoever wins this forever.
Or is it going to be more like when you have a champion in boxing when he's got like 4 belts, but you only see one?
Well, usually in boxing, the champion will wear whatever belt's being defended out, and then like his manager or somebody will be like holding up all the other ones. Which I mean, that's if they're wanting to go for that, to put somebody over as a Triple Crown champion, that's fine. But I mean, it can't stay this way. Like eventually New Japan's going to want their Strong title back. And eventually Ring of Honor, their champion's going to have to be separated from, whatever this new thing is, Continental title or whatever. But it's confusing. Like, what is the number 2 title in AEW right now? Is it the TNT, or is it the what is it, the All Atlantic or whatever? Or is it
the International or the TNT? They're kind of neck and neck right now.
It's kind of muddy in the waters a little bit, I think.
I think Caleb wanted me to read this. Billy versus Athena for Ring of Honor World Championship. I want Impact to Ring of Honor on a TV deal. And then he says, please read my comment. We did.
Used to, whenever Impact was working heavily with AEW, I kind of suspected that Tony Khan might buy Impact, but then that kind of went south, and then he ended up buying Ring of Honor. So I don't think that'll happen.
We have Alex Haney backstage.
Okay.
Hey, Alex, how's it going, buddy?
What's
Hello,
up?
how are you doing?
We're doing good.
What's on your mind?
What do you want to talk about?
So just going on about the sort of title thing. I mean, this ties into what you were discussing just previously about working together. I mean, the NWA title, that was the definitive World Heavyweight Championship, across all the territories, and Flair would go out, or what was it, whoever, Dusty would go out and wrestle in all these territories with that belt, and what was it? That's what's missing in wrestling, that definitive champion. Even the WWF recognized that belt as, the definitive world champion. What was it? And they were part of that. They were part of that sort of NWA organization for a long time, until sort of Vince McMahon Jr. sort of came in and ripped up the sort of script, shall we say? So. Yep. I do think there is far too many titles in wrestling at the moment. As I say, it gets a bit confusing, and the sort of relevancy and that sort of diminished as well on the importance of it.
I have a really bad take for you.
I think both right now. WWE
Alex,
and AEW have got champions that have been champions now for, I think MJF's just over a year, isn't it? Is it yet?
I think so. Yeah. Wasn't that the deal with him and Kenny Omega? He was crossing over a year. Yeah.
Yeah. A really bad take for you by Noob here. The TNT title is more important than the AEW title.
Well,
if you're talking about lineage, then you what was it? The TNT titles had some. Some bangers of matches, whereas the AEW title.
No, but when you have the AEW title, this is your main belt.
Yeah,
it's more important.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think I mean that's not to discredit for me. For me in the WWE for the longest time and a little bit now is the Intercontinental Championship is more important than the world title because that was who was going to be the next world champion, you know. And the thing is, once you're at the top, the only way you can go is down, you know. What was it? Whereas that these titles were always that sort of stepping stone to the big one, you know. What was it? I mean, it was in a sense of the territories. It was used as two ways. It was used to sort of elevate you to that next level, to the world championship title, or you were given that run because you were about to leave the territory for 6 months and go somewhere else, you know.
Yeah.
So they put that belt on you to give the rub to the guy on the way out. A bit of what was it? You know, so it depends. It depends how you sort of use the belts. You know, I think. But was it WWE, for example, just now as an example of it being done bad and done good? I know there's like criticism with Roman Reigns and things like that. That's fine. But what they've done with Gunther, you know, is really, really, and I really hope they don't. I don't mean this disrespectfully for Miz because I think Miz is massively underrated as a sort of WWE superstar, shall we say, wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, but I hope they don't do something. What was it? To diminish what Gunther? It needs to be somebody that sort of like just comes in and just destroys. You know, maybe Drew. You know, or something like that. You know, but I really wish they would sort of strip down. What was it? The amount of belts that they've got because it is confusing. You know.
I think if you were able to keep all the Ring of Honor titles and the NXT titles separate from the main shows, it would change the dynamics for sure.
Yeah, I mean, with the Ring of Honor, you've got Adam Cole, who won the title with the tag titles with the MG. I don't think they've actually defended the titles yet, have they? You know,
they have on the pay-per-views.
But together, have they together?
I don't think so. I don't think
they defended it together. I think MJF's just defended it himself.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but was it when in wrestling has that ever happened? If you lose your tag team partner, it's sort of gone. Traditionally,
or you can replace them and that'll be your tag team partner, like they did with Jericho.
Yeah, but what was it? You can't just go. Oh, I'm just going to help you defend it this time. You know, just so that when Cole comes back, you know, I mean, by definition of what they've done historically in wrestling, the ROH tag team title holders are MJF and Samoa Joe. You know, because
MJF was allowed to defend it by himself, but Brandon Samoa Joe was a bit pushing it.
Yeah, I think that was a case of that whole for me, Phil Gear was sort of. In my opinion, that was sort of overbooked. You know, they were doing the same thing at the start with the Ring of Honor's titles that they did at the end. They were just trying to build up the sort of disadvantage, you know. And they brought in obviously Samoa Joe to that, you know. And then they did what they could have
done, Alec. They could have had Samoa Joe be his ringside enforcer, and just magically help him win that belt, keep the belt. And not tag him, just like he's there and he's just fucking around.
Yeah, but you couldn't have him. You couldn't book him to beat two guys and then go into the main event and beat another guy. What was it? One of the top talents in the world. You know.
Yeah.
You've just basically just killed your sort of a top tier talent there. You know what was it by doing that? They sort of did, in my opinion. You know, but. I know things come round and things change. Not too sort of annoyed at that. Just at the fact that sort of sometimes there isn't a bit of common sense around what they're doing with the booking. You know, particularly the Ring of Honor stuff. What was it? You know my opinion on it anyway. I mean, I made a joke before I joined in the comment, basically saying, to me, it's not Ring of Honor. You know, what was it? There's nothing about what Tony Khan presents. About the Ring of Honor product that represents Ring of Honor or what Ring of Honor represented to me, you know.
All right, Alex, we have a lot more to talk about, so
okay,
we will see you later.
Thanks, Annie.
Bye.
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 All right, but we talked about that. What what do you got? You got something else?
Yeah, I got one other item here. I just wanted to kind of talk about Randy Orton came back, and for anybody that watched Friday Night SmackDown, he signed a contract to be a superstar on SmackDown. So he's not going to be on Raw anymore. He's going to be a SmackDown guy, and it looks like he's going to be propelled into a feud with Roman Reigns. So what are your thoughts on a returning Randy Orton feuding with Roman Reigns headed into possibly into Royal Rumble?
Definitive that they're going to do this?
Well, at the end of SmackDown, after Randy Orton signed his contract, and he did it because he wanted to get revenge on the Bloodline. Yeah. Paul Heyman came out, and they cut a promo on each other. Jimmy Uso tried to come out and attack Randy Orton, and Randy hit him with the RKO, and that's the way it ended, with Paul Heyman getting on the phone and calling Roman Reigns. So that's kind of what they're going for here.
It's a good feud to start off Randy Orton's comeback. He's a big name.
Yeah.
It'd be good for the ratings. So,
and he's white hot popular right now. The fans are popping huge for him. And
you know what? I saw a picture of Survivor Series with all the guys doing them. And I didn't realize it was Randy Orton at first. I was like, is that The Rock?
He looks like Batista.
He's almost that big. It's like, he's like The Rock big.
Yeah, I think he's borrowing some of The Rock's secret supplements here because allegedly he's coming out. And when he came out, my inclination was, he's a tan, white, bald guy who's tatted up and super jacked. I was like, is that Batista? And it was Randy Orton. Like, he looks amazing. And I don't know if you've noticed, but he seems to have this enthusiasm that I've never seen him have before. Like, he is absolutely thrilled to be back. So that's a good sign. I think we're going to see good things.
Him in the past as a douche.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like before he was just kind of like, blasé about being there. And like, he had a reputation of kind of being a dick to people. And it seems like he's kind of turned the new leaf here. So I like that.
I never actually said this, but I kind of like Randy Orton now.
Yeah. Like when he came out to the ring, like, Cody always plays up to the kids in the crowd, right? But when Randy Orton came out to the ring the other night, he stopped and signed a Randy Orton action figure for a little kid on the front row.
Do you know what? I love when wrestlers do this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wrestlers should do this all the time. If for one reason only, it gets you over as a babyface.
Absolutely it does. Like who isn't going to love a babyface who signs something for a little kid on the front row? Yeah. Like, who's not going to love that? Some soulless bastard, probably.
All right, that concludes the news. But we got a promo to do before we do joke of the day. So if you want to become a professional wrestler, and a lot of people, they just like, I don't know where to start. So we're going to send you down to Largo, Florida. You're going to get a job at a gas station pumping gas. You're going to get a job at the 7-Eleven. You're going to find some little hole in the wall to live in. And you're going to go train with FTW Academy. And this is Natalia Markova and Brian Idol's wrestling school. And they just do excellent work. Like Brian Idol once told me, or Natalia and Brian both told me that, like, he once gave Natalia Markova a DDT onto a chair. Ooh. And both were absolutely fine. Like that's good work. Wrestling.
Yeah.
That's safe wrestling. When both can walk away but not a pain in your body.
Yep. Absolutely.
So enough talking about it. It's $250 a month, Largo, Florida.
Determination. Perseverance. These are the qualities that make a champion. Do you have what it takes to be the next wrestling superstar? Are you ready to turn your dreams into a reality? At Fight the World Wrestling's World Wrestling Academy, we can help you become the champion you were meant to be. Our world travel trainers, Brian Idol and Natalia Markova, are well-known industry professionals with years of experience in the world of wrestling. From the basics to advanced techniques, they are dedicated to help give you the tools that you need to succeed in the ring. Our training program is tailored to challenge you, push you to your limits, and help you discover your full potential. Come join our diverse group of talent. Join us at Fight the World Wrestling's World Wrestling Academy and make your dream a reality. Visit our website or contact us to learn more and start your journey to the top today.
Today, not tomorrow, today.
Which leads us to the joke of the week.
Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart. Every day, people are mocked because they feel that dad jokes are the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's messed up. I believe that no one should have to fight for their humor. It's okay to dad joke.
Hello, one and all in AFW. Happy Sunday to one and all. And this is Better Than Your Boyfriend, Lord Ryan Rich with your official joke of the week. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
You know what makes that joke good?
What's that?
The selling of that joke. That momentary pause. It's how you say it too.
He's got good comedic timing.
Yeah.
Because like he'll ask the question, then he has the pause, then he has the cheeky grin he does, and then he gives you the punchline. Like it's brilliant stuff.
I guess we will do our main event. Where the hell is it? All right, there we go.
Gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
So today we're going to be talking about the stars of the Continental Classic. Like, do we see these guys winning it? Where are their wrestling careers going from here in AEW, or even like where their wrestling careers going? Period.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we'll start off with we got 12 people to go through here. So we're gonna alternate between the Blue League and the Gold League. So we're gonna start out with a blue chip prospect from the Blue League, and that's Daniel Garcia.
All right.
So Daniel Garcia, he has 0 wins so far. He's taking a bit of losses here. What are you thinking about Daniel Garcia? Like, where's he at? Like, he's not going to win this thing.
No, I don't think Daniel Garcia is going to win this. I think he's one of those guys that he's got some charisma. He's not oozing with it, but he's got some. He's a good technical style wrestler. He's good in the ring. He's not a tiny guy. Like, he's not a huge guy, but he's not tiny either. So I think he's got a good future on him. I think he's one of those guys. He's still young. He's up and coming. And we kind of talked about this a little bit last night on Collision After Dark, that I believe that he's going to lose this, but it's going to be kind of like I've lost, but I'm going to reflect on it and make myself better. And then maybe a year or two down the road, maybe he's the guy that wins the thing. But I don't think it's going to be this year.
I kind of look at it like these are Daniel Garcia showcases.
Yeah.
To showcase what he can do. Like, do you know when there's a player that's about to be traded and they put him on the top line, or they put him in like good situations?
Right.
To showcase to the rest of the league, hey, you want to trade for this guy? He's good. We just don't want him.
A little business marketing for the guy you're getting rid of. Yeah.
So I think Daniel Garcia, he's got a big future. And we talked about this last night as well, that he might be, even though like who are we talking about? The guy, the BCC.
Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, Wheeler Yuta. Even though Wheeler Yuta has the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, in this showcase, he might be positioned better because not belts aren't always everything.
Right. And I'm kind of surprised that Wheeler Yuta isn't in this. Like I kind of thought he would be in this, honestly. But he's one of those guys that he's a great technical wrestler, but he has zero personality or promo skill.
Yeah.
So I think the Ring of Honor Pure Championship probably fits him because it's all strictly technical with no frills when it comes to like cutting promos or anything. But Garcia, I think, has more promo ability and he's an overall better talent than Wheeler Yuta is. And I think that in the long run, Garcia is going to go way farther in this company than Yuta.
What's Garcia's ceiling?
I don't know. I don't know if he has what it takes to be world champion. I don't know.
So it's like maybe the international championship, his ceiling is.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking maybe
Garcia
international
is
championship /
ceiling?
TNT championship, something like that. I don't. At this point, I don't see him winning the big one.
What
Now,
about
that could
Ring of Honor
change.
World? What about
It could
Ring of Honor
change.
World?
Yeah, but I just don't. I don't think he's going to make the big one. I don't.
What about Ring of Honor World Championship?
I can see that. I can see him being Ring of Honor champion. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next guy from the Gold League, Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal.
Now, this guy, he's had Ring of Honor World Championships. Is he a TNA World Champion?
No. I don't believe he was TNA World Champion, but he held some of the other titles there.
Okay, but he had, it kind of sucks that he's getting the big stage near the end of his career.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, Jay Lethal is one of those guys that, I mean, he was one of the absolute best wrestlers not in the WWE for years. I mean, he was top heel champion in Ring of Honor for quite a while, and he had a great reign. And he's just one of those guys that's so solid. His fundamentals are so fluid. He has his own school and he trains people now. Like he's got a great wrestling mind. And he just peaked on the big show a little too late, unfortunately. And that's kind of what we see with a lot of these guys. Christopher Daniels is another one we could say like that. Like they were a big fish in a small pond for a long time. He's a legendary wrestler, but he's not going to win this. And I don't think he's long for a future in AEW as an active competitor. I think he's working a lot behind the scenes.
I think, his main role is going to be helping other people become stars.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I do want him to play the Black Machismo gimmick one more time. I love it so much.
He got that over really well in TNA. He had that viral promo of him and Ric Flair wooing at each other. That, I mean, I still see video clips of that out there today. It's something that's always going to be remembered about him.
So we'll ask this of each character. What's his ceiling?
At this point, I don't even know if he would get back to Ring of Honor champion or not. Maybe Ring of Honor tag champ. I don't think he's going to hold a major singles title ever again. I just don't. I think he's too late.
Maybe something in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Maybe Ring of Honor trios champions.
Yeah, I could see him being a trios champ or a tag champ in Ring of Honor. I think his days of having a major singles title is probably done.
All right, let's go back to the Blue League. Eddie Kingston.
Joe Graham's favorite wrestler.
For legit, he doesn't like him.
He doesn't like Eddie Kingston. Yeah, Eddie Kingston is an interesting one to me because I've never been blown away by his in-ring work. I love his promo skill.
Yeah.
I've never been blown away by his in-ring work, but I will say that he showed me a lot more in that match last night than I usually see from him. A lot of technical wrestling, a lot of shoot style. He's got some nice suplexes. And the guy does cut a hell of a promo.
Well, there's the thing about that, though. when you're working with a top guy makes you look good.
Absolutely.
Like Bret Hart made everyone look good.
Yeah.
And I think Bryan Danielson does that as well.
And arguably, the closest thing that I think we could possibly have to Bret Hart in modern times is Bryan Danielson, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he does make everybody look good, no matter who he's in the ring with. So that is a good point, and I will see that point. But I think Kingston, I think he's a better promo than he is in the ring, but he does have some skill. I'm not getting into the body shaming thing here, but when you are a full-time wrestler, I do think you should probably do some conditioning a little bit.
It's not a body shaming thing, but here's the thing. He's not in that bad a shape. He's got a little bit of a belly. Like, he doesn't have the man tits.
Yeah. He's got a belly. He doesn't really have any muscle either.
No, but he just needs to slim down. And it's not going to take a lot to get that to that level. Like, he doesn't have to be like buff, like Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But
would it be funny if he disappeared for a couple months and came back looking jacked like Randy Orton?
Do you remember when Jake the Snake was gone for a while and he came back and he was just buff?
When was that? I don't recall.
This was in the 80s, late 80s.
Oh, okay.
And Vince McMahon sent him home.
Yeah, I remember him telling that story. Yeah.
He's like, we don't want to jack Jake the Snake.
Yeah, because Jake was always very lean. He was always like a tall, lean guy until he got like in the 90s.
I think that was short-sighted of Vince McMahon.
I think so too. Yeah.
Like it's a reinvention of someone's character.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, it's Jake, like he's jacked. Like it would have been interesting.
He is jacked the Snake Roberts.
Yes. What is Eddie Kingston's ceiling?
I think he's probably at it.
Yeah.
I think Ring of Honor, New Japan Strong Champion, I think is probably his ceiling. I don't think he's going to win the big one. And I think
he's got nowhere to go but down.
Yeah. I think he is currently at his ceiling. Yeah.
All right, let's move on back to the Gold League, and we got Roosh. Now, Dallas is really turned on by Roosh.
He likes that hair.
No, I think he's more of like the body guy. He doesn't like the big jacked guys.
He likes the guys that are a little bit softer looking.
Well, they got a little bit of muscle, but not like.
Yeah, a little bit of like strong dad bod look.
Yeah, strong dad bod.
Roosh is I have mixed feelings on Roosh because I know he's a really talented guy, but I still feel like we haven't seen his full potential as a wrestler yet. I think he is demonstrably less skilled than his brother Dragon Lee. I think Dragon Lee's way better than he is.
But did AEW see Roosh as the main guy versus Dragon Lee?
No.
Like AEW wanted Dragon Lee more than Roosh.
I think so, but I mean he ended up choosing NXT and WWE, obviously. But yeah, I think Dragon Lee was seen as more of a star in Lucha than Roosh. I mean, I'm not a Lucha expert, but that's my understanding of it.
Did Roosh used to wrestle on a mask or no?
No.
No, he never did.
No, but I mean, Roosh used to be Ring of Honor World Champion. Yeah. And, you know, he kind of showed a little bit of star power when he was Ring of Honor Champion for a brief period of time, but I just don't think I don't think
3 points with 1 win, 1 loss, so he's like,
yeah. I got to see more of Roosh because I don't think he's reached his potential yet. I don't think he's hit his ceiling, but I don't think he's reached his potential yet. So I'm a little indifferent on Roosh at the moment. What are your thoughts?
Roosh, you know, you got guys in this tournament who are gonna go like perfect or maybe 1 loss. Roosh is that 50-50 guy.
Yeah.
He's not horrible. He's not the best. So I think I want to see Andrade and Rush.
Yeah.
But I think they're in different leagues, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose.
Yeah. we got to keep the Mexican guys separate.
Does the Blue League never fight the Gold League, or how's that work?
No, like the Blue League and the Gold League will face everybody within their same league, and then whoever has the most points will move on to face whoever has the most points of the other league.
So what if there's a tie in one league? What happens then?
I guess there's not going to be a tie.
Well, yeah, they have to. I guess they have to have a
they'd have to have a tiebreaker match.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
I don't know. I would assume that's what would happen. But yeah, whoever wins the blue and whoever wins the gold, they're going to face each other then, and that's going to be the winner.
I've never seen any tournament like this in wrestling before because I'm not really a big guy in New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like we talked about last night. This is what New Japan does to decide who's going to be the next IWGP champion for the next year, because whoever wins the G1 round robin style tournament goes on to Wrestle Kingdom to face the IWGP champ, and usually they go over on the champ.
What is Rush's ceiling?
I got to see more of him. I think I could see him possibly getting up to like TNT champion, maybe.
I think so because Andrade did it, so I think he's right on par there with Andrade.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him get up to that level. I don't think we're going to see him get up to world champion level.
Maybe Ring of Honor world champion again.
Yeah, which if I remember correctly, he was a Ring of Honor world champion pre Tony Khan. Yeah.
Let's talk about Claudio.
Good old Claudio.
He's jacked in this picture.
Now I know you're not the biggest fan of Claudio, but what do you think about him here?
I like Claudio when he is taking some losses.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a Claudio going through everyone.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I don't want to see Claudio destroying everyone. I want to see Claudio getting beaten down. I want to see some character development of Claudio.
Right.
Because like it's in the losses that you can develop some character. You can talk about like, I took a hard loss, like I'm gonna come back and I keep fighting, and just like I don't care if I lose 10 matches, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna kick your ass.
Right.
Like I like to see that development and that testicular fortitude come out.
Ooh, bringing out the Vince McMahon quotes here. Testicular fortitude. Claudio, I'm like you. I've never been super big on Claudio. I was never a huge Cesaro guy. Like, I think he's good, but I've just always kind of found him to be a bit boring. Like, I've just never been a huge fan. And I always thought that he was solid in the ring.
Yeah.
But I never really saw the greatness that other people talk about with him. I just never really
like his promos are dry.
Yeah. He's got a very dry personality. Yeah. And I've always thought that he's a bit overrated by the internet wrestling community.
And like all his matches look very similar.
Yeah. And I mean, with that said, he's solid.
Yeah.
But I think he's hit his ceiling. I think his ceiling was him winning the Ring of Honor World Championship. I don't really see him doing much more.
Would you say it's the equivalent to TNA? Sorry, to the TNT Championship, to the International?
I'm going to say it's
almost like a bar.
I think it's a step below it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I think now, I think the Ring of Honor World Championship is a step below those titles.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the secondary AEW titles, which those both arguably are on the same level. And I think the Ring of Honor title is right below that.
We have Caleb backstage. So didn't he have a problem with one of the announcers in WWE?
So in our little group chat that we have, I just have a running gag where I say that Kevin Patrick sucks, because he is. He's a god-awful commentator. Sorry. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he sucks. And I was chatting with Caleb about this. His response when I said that Kevin Patrick needs to leave his response was, "He is bitch." So
Let's bring him in. Caleb.
what's
how
up?
you doing?
Hey,
How's it going,
I'm
man?
good. How are
What do
you?
Patrick.
He's the worst
Why?
because he's not good. Die on Raw.
Now,
No.
Caleb, would you say that he is bitch?
Yep.
Yep.
Say it then.
I'm in the car with my mom and dad. So
Nah,
Oh.
let's not make him curse. He's in the car with his
Okay.
mom and dad.
What do you want to talk about, Caleb? What do you think about who were we talking about? Were we talking about
We're
Claudio?
talking about Claudio Castagnoli.
Claudio, he's a good guy, but he's not winning this tournament.
Yeah. What are your
He's not
thoughts on
gonna win?
Claudio in general? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he's really good? Do you think he's going to do something more than win like the Ring of Honor championship, or is he hit his ceiling?
He's overrated. I want him to go to Ring of Honor a fourth time.
Okay. And I could see that. I could see him winning the Ring of Honor championship again at some point.
All right. Anything you want to add?
No, I will be on here on Wednesday night after dark.
So let me ask you something, then, Caleb. What's your favorite soup?
Oh, jeez. Potato soup.
Potato soup? That's a good.
Okay.
Potato bacon.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later, Caleb.
Thanks, Caleb.
Thank you.
Have a good day, my man.
I like to ask some random question to people sometimes.
Like Caleb is out traveling
Yeah.
and is still participating in the show. That's awesome.
We almost got him in trouble with his parents.
Yeah, let's not do that now. We don't want to get Caleb in trouble with his mom and dad. Like
Oh my
we're going to
goodness.
respect some boundaries around here.
All right. Who we got next? Oh yeah, we got Claudia Seal. Okay, Jay White.
Oh, Jay White. I love Jay
Doesn't
White.
he look a little bit about Jesus? Did he play Jesus
Well,
in the movie?
They always
Rich
jokingly say that Seth Rollins is CrossFit Jesus, but I think you could put Jay White in there interchangeably as well.
Yeah, you grow the beard out a little bit more. He's ripped Jesus.
Now, see, if he went to WWE, they'd probably make him like a heel, like cult leader Jesus type.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
totally did.
That's my thoughts on Jay White. I love Jay White. I think he's a great wrestler. He's a former IWGP World Champion. I do not think he has hit his peak, and I don't think he's going to be the winner of this, but it's very possible that he could. And
Yeah.
I think that he's going to eventually be the AEW World Champion.
Yes, he's going to be a world champion for sure. He took 2 losses recently, and they're his first 2 losses in AEW.
Yeah.
One to MJF and one to Swerve Strickland, which is like saying something about Swerve Strickland.
Absolutely.
We'll get into that later.
We'll get to him. Yeah.
Yeah. But Jay White, definitely his ceiling is the world championship, AEW world championship.
Absolutely. I do think that he will have a stint. I don't know if it'll be long, but I think he'll have a stint as AEW World Champion.
Justin Marsh, so the blue winner faces the gold winner at World's End, December 30th.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna find out the triple crown, if I could say it, triple crown.
You said the
champion.
crippled crown.
The crippled
clown.
It's gonna be the crippled clown world
Yes.
champion.
Oh, the crippled clown. That's a gimmick.
The crippled clown world champion.
Like
Yeah.
he comes to the ring so scary, like it almost. He's like crawling, like he can walk. He's unbroken, but all of a sudden,
Could you imagine like Doink the Clown coming out in a wheelchair and he has a title belt with him that's just like a clown face?
well, you can get way creepier than Doink with a clown.
Well, you could go Dark Doink, the evil Doink. Yeah.
Well, you can get like really horror sort of clown.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could rip off Pennywise or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He's got the sharp teeth or whatever.
Somebody call Vince Russo. He'd come up with something like that,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But yeah, not Swerve. Jay White, amazing. World Championship. Do you think he'll ever go to WWE?
It's possible. It's possible. If AEW is smart, they'll hold on to him. And I don't know how old Jay White is. I think he's like in his early to mid 30s. So if he has a long-term deal with AEW, then he might kind of miss his window of WWE as far as age is concerned. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in WWE someday. It just depends on who ponies up the money, I guess.
Like, it all depends, like, if he sees his future. Like, once you get that world title, you're like, we talk about that you got nowhere to go but down.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I've had my run. I've got to cash in on my stardom and go win it at WWE now.
Yeah. Very real possibility. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Finn Balor joined WWE until he was almost 40. So, yeah, it's a possibility still.
And Finn Balor's a real possibility of signing with AEW.
I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. I don't know how long of a deal he has with WWE, but I mean, I can certainly see it.
I think it's coming up soon.
Yeah, I mean, Balor had a great.
I'm shocked they didn't put the world title on him.
Yeah, I'm a big Finn Balor fan, and he is the first Universal Champion that they had
for a day.
But it ended up getting ruined because idiot Seth Rollins threw him against the barrier outside and messed his neck up.
And I think WWE didn't want to pull the trigger on giving him the belt because they wanted a long run for the first champion.
Yeah. It's a shame though, because what might have been if he hadn't got injured in that match? Yeah. Like he might be in which I mean, he's worked his way back up to being almost a main event type figure anyways with the Judgment Day. But I'm a big Finn Balor guy. I've always been a huge fan of him.
But I don't, this is a bit of a side quest here. I don't see him winning a world title in WWE.
I don't either.
NXT maybe, but not a main.
I think if they put it on somebody in Judgment Day, it's going to be Damian Priest because he's the Money in the Bank winner. He's a younger guy. He's got a big build. Aesthetically,
big build
with a D on the end. Like he fits the aesthetic, fits the mold of a WWE template champion. So I think if they're going to put it on somebody, it's going to be Damian Priest. I think they've kind of moved beyond Balor as a top guy. Yeah.
That's why I think he's looking at AEW to wind down his career.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see Fergal Devitt or Prince Devitt come to AEW. Yeah.
So our next guy is Andrade El Idolo.
El Idolo.
From the Blue League.
I love Andrade. I think he looks like a badass. He's jacked to the gills. He can do all the flippy lucha kind of stuff, even though he's jacked. He looks like a star. I think that he's somebody that I'm not sure that they'll ever elevate him to world title level. But I could see him, international TNT title level
or Ring of Honor world.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
For Andrade, I think he needs that side person with him.
Yeah.
And I think CJ fits that perfectly.
Yeah, I think she'll help him out a lot. I'm not sure if it would work too well or not, but honestly, if it had been me, I would have put Flair with him as his mouthpiece. That's his son-in-law. They could build on like a family dynamic. And he could say he's a young Mexican version of the Nature Boy. And I think they could do some good stuff there.
I think that's something to think about down the line, maybe. But I do like CJ, the way she smiles and looks at people. She's got that charisma to her without doing much.
That's what you noticed last night about her smile, right?
No, for real. Else. Like the way she carries herself.
Oh, I know. I'm teasing you because
you're just pulling my chain, but
she looked amazing last night in what she was wearing. So I just want to throw that out.
Well, no, for real. I do like the way she has these little gestures with her face.
She's very good.
Yeah.
Like she's very underrated and she's very good. Like she is a really good actress on a wrestling show. Like she really is. She performs just from an acting perspective so much better than 95% of everybody else on the TV.
So I had her respond to me one time on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah,
I hope you were nice.
I thought it was nice, but she kind of like smack talked me back.
Oh no! What happened there? Tell us what happened.
Well, I said like I'm really shocked that you like comic books, and she like responded like "Bleh, bleh, bleh," back at me.
What
I'm
do you
like,
think? I'm brain dead?
well, just like it was kind of like don't be shocked kind of thing. I or just
It's
like more of like a women's lib sort of comment back.
She insinuated. She probably took it like you were saying she's hot, so she's too dumb to like something of a literary nature. I think is kind of what that's probably what she was
No,
getting.
but
at.
I totally like, oh, I think that's awesome, blah blah blah. But she didn't comment on that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, she
No,
was
I think
done with
it's
you at that point.
no, I think it's great when people like when women are into comic books and stuff that we also like. That's what it's mainly about.
Yeah, I
Because
think
women
that's
think
dope.
it's just
I
like,
love that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
really
like
cool.
I think it's hot.
Yeah, because well, when we were young,
Yeah.
well, let's get in our way back machine here. When we were young, it's like no woman liked anything like that, and
Yeah,
now it's like younger women nowadays are into kind of like nerd culture kind of
yeah,
stuff,
and
and
that's mainly what I meant.
it's like where were you all 20 years ago?
Yeah. All right. Going back to what was Andrade's ceiling?
I think we determined TNT International or Ring of Honor.
Yes, we did say that, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right. Here's someone interesting, Mark Briscoe.
Mark Briscoe. Wow.
He's a tough one. Like
I love Mark
I don't
Briscoe.
see him winning anything in this tournament.
No, Mark Briscoe. I love him. I think the Briscoes are one of the greatest tag teams of all time, especially in independent wrestling. They might be the best tag team of all time. But yeah, he's a tag team wrestler, and without his brother, I think he's just going to be a helping hand. Like I don't think that he's going to win any titles unless he teams up with somebody and maybe wins the Ring of Honor tag title.
And Mark Briscoe can't reinvent himself.
No.
Like how can you? This guy cannot. Like I get a picture of him coming out in a suit and tie, just being like this rich character. Well, he could wear. I guess he could get his teeth done or whatever.
Right. I mean, the Mark Briscoe is Mark Briscoe. Like you're not going to repackage him as something else. I think he's going to be a helping hand. I think he's going to help out a lot backstage.
I think similar to Jay Lethal is what he is.
Yeah. I think we're kind of at the point to where he's going to ride off in the sunset here soon and take a backstage role. I don't expect him to do really anything beyond this tournament, honestly.
And you like as a singles wrestler, it's way different.
Yeah.
Like he's not wowing us with his singles wrestling.
No, because he's not a singles guy. Like he's built to be a tag guy. You know, his brother was the singles guy.
So Jay Briscoe was the better wrestler.
Yeah, Jay Briscoe had a stint as Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yeah.
Several stints, actually. Like he was a multiple-time Ring of Honor World Champion. Jay was the star. Like he was the star of this team. Mark has always just kind of been the helping hand. He's a solid wrestler, but he's never going to be the guy.
All right, let's move on back to the blue leg, Brody King. And I think Brody King, this is his coming out party.
Yeah, and I'm excited.
He had that thing with Darby Allin.
Yeah,
but I think this is his time to shine.
I remember the first time I remember seeing him. I saw him on a New Japan show, and he came out to like he's like the singer of like a hardcore punk band, and like he used his band's music, and he came out and he's all tatted up and he's huge. He looks like a monster, and I was like, this is a badass can't miss prospect here. And I'm so glad to see that he went over Claudio last night, because honestly, I thought he was going to be, and he may still end up at the bottom rung of this tournament, but I'm glad to see his star shine at least a little bit. He's a monster of a guy.
You know what's interesting is the thoughts behind where you're putting people in tournaments, because you build Brody King up early in this tournament. So when Swerve or Bryan Danielson beat him, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like
Yeah.
there's some smarts to this.
Absolutely. And I hope that when this is over, that they keep pushing Brody King, because I want to see more of him. He's a badass. He's a monster. AEW needs more monsters like that.
I think AEW is doing a really good job right now of pushing the House of Black altogether.
I agree. Yeah.
Like for a while they weren't, and now they are.
Yeah, I was frustrated for a long time because like these guys would make an appearance like once a month and then you wouldn't see them for weeks. And like now they're consistently involved in the shows and angles, and even I think even Julia Hart has helped that by being the female representative of House of Black and being involved in some high profile matches and angles. I'm excited to see it. I want to see where Brody King goes from here. I'm a fan. Let's see more of him.
Brody King, I think his ceiling is TNT champion.
Yeah, I think he has TNT
championship. Some world championship matches, maybe main events, but not quite winning.
No, I could see Malachi Black being a world champion out of that bunch.
I want that so much, Mr. Isaac.
I do too. Yeah,
I think Malachi dominant Black, run by Malachi Black as the world champion.
I think Black should have came in as a world title contender. Like I really do. I'm that high on him. And I think Buddy Matthews should be like an international champion at some point.
You put like if we're talking about the FTR joining them, you make FTR the tag champs. You put the international championship on Buddy. You put the TNT championship on Brody, and you put the world championship. Just dominate.
And you could have them you could kind of push them like a Judgment Day. Yeah. Like the heel stable like
with all this gold. Like give them everything.
I'd be all for that. I'd be all for it.
And they all dominate for like you could have them losing some of them after a while, but for 3 months just dominating.
And they could mess with all the top baby faces with the lights going out and the trickery and
this would be this AEW needs to do that. It would be domination.
I would love it. I'm all for it. Tony Khan, give us a call.
FTR needs to be part of this after this feud is over, and just like spray some mist in their freaking faces because it would be fun.
We could do it. Yeah.
But like what would you do with FTR as members? Would you paint their faces, or what would you do?
I think you would have to. Yeah, I mean they couldn't have the old like Arn and Tully look. Like they'd have to look a little more grungy than that.
It would be interesting to see, like, because it would be quite the transformation for them.
They'd start looking less like the Midnight Express and more like Demolition.
That would be fun, or just like LOD sort of.
What if they came out with the S&M gear like Demolition?
Yeah. All right, who we got next? I think we're gonna this is gonna be a long show, but that's okay. We got Jon Moxley.
Good old Jon Moxley. Well, my thoughts on Moxley. I mean, obviously he's been world champion before. I think that he started to suck for a long time, but I think he's starting to get really good again. I think he has kind of found a way to incorporate his style and make it look good.
Yeah.
And his promos are actually getting pretty good, and he looks like a badass. He's jacked. I could see Moxley once again at some point being AEW world champion. I don't think he's going to win this tournament, but I could see him being a future champion down the road.
I think he would put a lot of credibility to some mid-card titles.
Yeah.
Like you have a run with the TNT title, you have a run with the international. Yeah, he had. I think he has to stay away from that title for a bit.
Yeah.
But I can see him having some mid-card gold. Like Ring of Honor world champion would be fun for him too.
Yeah. Do you think he'll ever get one more stint as AEW world champion?
I think so.
So yeah, I think so too.
Just down the road.
Probably not a long one, but I could see him having another stint as AEW world champion.
Not a lot to say on it. Everyone kind of knows Jon Moxley. I think
Moxley is what he is. I mean, he came in hot and was a world champion pretty much right away. So,
but you know what? I think that Jon Moxley he peaked a little too soon.
Yeah. Well, they brought him in hot off of being Dean Ambrose in WWE, where he was WWE champion. and he was a member of the Shield, and he was highly recognizable. And I mean, he was one of the early faces of AEW because everybody knew who he was, and the Shield was always seen as like, you know, this generation's top talents.
Yeah.
So they shoehorned him into that role.
I think Jericho should have beat him that first match.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then have a little bit of a chase.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
he probably could have
he's
benefited from
John
the chase.
Moxley over chasing Jericho.
Right. It would have helped for sure. Yeah.
That's what I would have booked.
All right.
We got the best wrestler in the world today.
Yes. I mean, what can you say about Bryan Danielson? You know, you guys know I'm a huge Danielson mark. He's my favorite wrestler of the modern era. Him and Okada. He's the best. I think that he's this generation's Bret Hart. I think he can make anybody look good.
He's your favorite AEW wrestler.
What's that?
Is he your favorite AEW wrestler?
Yes and no. I mean, he is, but I think currently I'm more of a Swerve fan. Yeah. But I think Swerve is more the future star that I want to see. So he's like my favorite kind of current up and comer guy. But Danielson is my favorite kind of like legacy talent wrestler. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I came in watching AEW because of Chris Jericho, but Chris Jericho's lost a lot of like his momentum and his fandom, and just like
he's 50 now. Yeah. He's 50. He's had some health issues. Like he's just he's not Y2J from 20 years ago.
No,
yeah.
But like side quest. Do you want the Golden Jets to be tag team champions?
I wouldn't mind seeing them have a brief stint as champions.
I want this so much, like, cause I think Jericho's wanted to be tag team champions in AEW for a while now. He was hoping, I think, to do it with Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see them have a stint as the champions. I think they could do a lot of good with that. Yeah.
But back to Bryan Danielson. He's on his wrap up tour.
Yeah.
He has a good chance of winning this thing.
Yeah, I think he does too. It's down to him and one other person, in my opinion. And I think you know who the other person is.
We'll talk about him next.
That we're going to discuss. That's kind of the two that I'm going between here to win this. And I just don't know. It's really surprising to me that like Danielson hasn't been like the champion. That is surprising to me. Because I kind of thought they were going to shoehorn him in as the champion as soon as he came in. So I'm not sure
avoiding that though.
Yeah, I'm not sure this late in the game that he'll ever get the world champion.
Yeah, I'd like him. I like him to have like just a short run.
Yeah, I would too. I'd like to see
3-4, like even if it's just that short Jericho run that he had.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to see it. I think at this stage, I don't think we're going to see it. But
because he's got like a year, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, and I don't even know about putting the mid card titles on him at this point either. I think you should probably save those slots for the other up and comers.
And the thought that he wins this is also kind of backed up by the fact he's got Okada right after World's End.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure if New Japan is going to want the New Japan Strong Champion, which is kind of like an underneath title for New Japan.
No, but it's the Triple Crown that's defended in the AEW, ROH, and New Japan.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility. I don't think that's where they're going with it, but it's a possibility.
It's a tough one because you're bringing that title all of a sudden. You're presenting it to the world after.
Yeah.
So it's a good push for it.
Yeah.
Our last person is Swerve Strickland. And he is my favorite wrestler today.
Yeah.
I don't think of anyone who's quite taken, like, to me, I didn't know who the hell he was. I seen him on WWE a couple times,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what we were getting with this guy. And I was like, I like this gimmick. Who's us? Well, in the beginning,
Yeah.
he showed charisma from the start, and I think he's a hell of a wrestler, and I think he's loaded with charisma.
I absolutely agree. This guy is an absolute star. He looks tough. He's amazing in the ring. He's got swagger about him. I love Prince Nana being at his side. I love his theme music. I love his promo ability. I mean, there's like really nothing I don't love about Swerve Strickland right now. And when I first saw him, I saw him in MLW. That's when he first started. He was just working as Shane Strickland. And he was like a top guy there right before AEW started. And, obviously he went on to NXT and was Hit Row, and but I think now he has hit his stride. Like he is on the way up with the rocket ship on his back at this moment. I do think that Swerve will eventually be the first black AEW world champion.
Yeah.
And I think he's my personal favorite to win this.
Yeah, let's look at a couple scenarios here. So he could win this tournament, and Prince Nana is holding the two other belts, which is a good aesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you talked about the boxer.
Yeah.
And his manager's holding the other titles. Like
Absolutely.
That would look like gold.
He could, I think he could embody that like Floyd Mayweather kind of swagger too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the big sunglasses on him, have him wear some fancy silk robes. Like I could see him pulling that off. Yeah.
The other scenario I would say is he loses to Bryan Danielson in the finals.
Yeah.
And still goes over because you cleaned up, you lost barely to Bryan Danielson in an amazing match.
Well, let's just get a consensus here. You and I both think that Swerve is probably the one most likely to win, but we think if he doesn't, it's going to be Danielson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm torn on this. Like, I want Swerve to win because I think it looks so cool.
Yeah.
But they might not go that way because of the Okada match.
Yeah. And I can see your point there. Yeah. They may go with Danielson for the aesthetic of him being the Triple Crown champion going against Okada. I can see that. And
in the positive light, like you want to see a Bryan Danielson with all that gold.
Oh yeah, I would love it if Danielson won. Still, yeah. I mean, I
think we're really in a win-win situation here. Really,
as long as one of the two of them wins, I'm good. I don't want anybody else to win. I want it to be either Swerve or Danielson.
Just like I think that sets up Swerve's, like the loss to Bryan Danielson in the final sets up his march to the world title.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and like I think it's good for I think it's good for like AEW has a lot of white people watching.
Yeah.
Predominantly white people following AEW, and I think that you have Swerve Strickland, someone so good, someone so charismatic. Him as your world champion, you're bringing in a whole new audience.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he's got contacts in the hip hop world. You could put him on with the AEW title, dress him up with the AEW world title, let him go visit the Breakfast Club, the popular hip hop podcast radio show. I mean, you could have him do the rounds and you could help generate a new black audience based around Swerve. I mean, I absolutely could see that.
Winding down here. So Swerve Strickland, when do you think they pull the trigger on that world title?
Probably in 6 months to a year.
Depending on if he wins this thing or not.
Yeah. I'm leaning more towards about a year down the road.
Yeah, if he wins this thing, you're looking at about a year towards the world title.
Yeah.
If he loses, it could be sooner than that.
Yeah.
Because they've already been showing like I'm taking Hangman's spot. like a former world champion.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good I am. I beat him 2 times in a row. So, like, that was a huge run for him there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I
it
agree.
made him legit.
Yeah.
He needed those wins.
I'm excited to see what he does in the future. I am.
All right, we've been running long here. We're at 1:30. I think we're gonna forego all the advertising and all that stuff.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah. So, on behalf of myself and the FN expert, we hope you have an awesome week and enjoy your holiday season as we head into Christmas here, or whatever you celebrate. Do you want to give them the Just Keep Fighting speech?
Yeah, so the holiday season is a wonderful time of year, but seasonal depression is also a thing as well.
Yeah.
And I've felt it kind of creeping up on me here lately, and I know a lot of other people probably have as well. What you've got to remember though is you got to stay strong, because even if you don't have a great family life, even if you're having trouble with your job or trouble with your friends, or you're having health issues or something, a positive mindset is going to get you way farther than thinking negatively and feeling bad for yourself. It just is. And you've got to remember that you've got the strength to do this. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks or says about you. Worry about what's in your heart and what's in your mind. Control what you can control, not what you can't. Don't worry about what you can't control. Take care of what you can control. And if you do that, I promise things are going to get a lot better for you. And that's something I've had to remind myself a lot of lately. I'm sure Canada Dry has, and everybody else as well. Just remember to, man, keep your fist in the air. We believe in you. Just keep fighting.
This has been an effing worldwide media production. You can find us on all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and others. Head over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/effing wrestling. And while you're there, click like and subscribe. Want some swag? Head to our store at prowrestlingtees.com/effing wrestling. You can find all these links and much more at our awesome website, effingwrestling.com. As the JFB always says, you can book it.